Hello, everyone. Good day, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever you're listening to me on this Friday. As of this Friday's release, by the time you are hearing this Instagram story about the end of end-to-end encryption, this effect or this policy will already take effect already for all users on the platform, which is very concerning because I wanted to do this recording on Thursday. I just been streaming last night, and I also the heat of this of this spring is just getting into me, and other factors along the way, so couldn't even get around to doing that recording on time for Friday, which I would say that it's already the end of privacy already for Instagram, and also not just Instagram, but we can forget that WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and then many other Facebook products alone are just the same causation as well. So you look at what's been happening with all these Meta products, they are in fault, and they are not end-to-end encrypted. And I will say, and I will get into WhatsApp into this story as of today. And then also, I wanted to get into the topic of games later on in the show. So hopefully you guys that are listening, hope you enjoy this segment that I'm about to talk about, and also I wanted to go over on an alternative, what I found out is some years back, and I will tell you real shortly. Let's hit it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast. I'm your host, Leon LeGray. Here in today's release, May 8th, 2026. And the PSA for everyone is Instagram encrypted messaging ends on Friday, May 8th, as of today, which in the story of Mac rumors and also all the tech stories that's been covering up on Instagram, even days or weeks in advance about this too. I wanted to go over because where I've been seeing Meta lately, I do think this is going to be the end of Meta. And as many people will go out and say that, well, Meta is not going to end because users are still going to rely on these centralized social platforms. And now I will say somewhat agree with this, because let's say if you have relatives and whatnot, maybe that's not your time to leave the platform. But if you are just like me, looking to stray away from these platforms, I say you should really do it. Don't even think twice, because I do believe end-to-end encryption is important. They should have it on default. And for Meta to take rid of end-to-end encryption, that's criminal right there. I'm sorry, that's just criminal. I don't care what people think about letting a big company cut off encryption like that. No. I don't think so as well, because that's just by far pushing it right there. So I want to go over on the Mac rumors that have said about this in this story. So in this story, it says Instagram will remove end-to-end encryption for direct messages between users from May 8th, 2026. When the date comes around, Meta will potentially be able to see the contents of all messages between users on the social media platform. Encrypting messages has been an optional feature in Instagram since 2023, but in March of this year, the social media platform quietly updated a help page to say the feature would no longer be available for direct messages between users from May 8th. With the end-to-end encryption enabled, the context of messages are protected from the moment they leave the sender's device to the moment they reach the sender's device. Reach the receiver's device. In other words, nobody, including Meta, can see what is sent. When May 8th rolls around, that extra layer of security will be removed. On its help page, Instagram says users that are affected by the change will see instructions in the app on how they can download any media or messages that they may want to keep. However, the company hasn't explained why encrypted chats must be downloaded before the cutoff date or what will happen to them afterwards. In March, a spokesperson for Meta told The Guardian that the decision to abandon encryption was due to low uptake. Very few people are opting in to end-to-end encrypted messaging and DMs. So we're removing this option from Instagram in the upcoming months. The spokesperson said anyone who wants to keep messaging with end-to-end encryption can easily do that on WhatsApp. Meta has come under sustained pressure over the years from law enforcement and child safety groups to remove encryption. But there's likely more to it than that. With Meta able to see messages between users, it could potentially run advertising algorithms or train chatbots on their contents. It's an odd twist for a company who, in 2019, aggressively promoted tightening encryption standards on its social media and messaging apps. As things stand, and encryption for group Facebook Messenger chats remain opt-in, while it continues to be the default setting for all WhatsApp conversations and calls. So I have my take with this because this is not a good thing. And lately, I think we are seeing a lot more of this is going to be happening with other centralized platforms, which, let's face it, X will probably end up doing the same thing as well. And I'm not surprised with all these things happening all at once, especially with child safety groups, having to promote, what was it like, having to promote child safety. And the irony of this is they are taking away secure messaging for users that wants their messages to be saved. And I don't see where this is going to go on it, because this is going to let people know that, you know what, if this is what this is, I know that a lot of people are going to leave and they're going to turn around and look elsewhere too. And I haven't been surprised on what on Meta and all these big platforms are doing these days. This is not something I advocate or support on this. I think this is a really concerning, And look, as much as I can say is, look, I have used Meta applications before, and even there was a point that I've used Facebook in the past. I think Facebook sucks, in my opinion. Facebook was not the I wish that I would say it was not the whole big, lingua franca of the internet. And I hate to say this, but I think most social media networks sucks. And Facebook really did a big number. And look, I have to say that social media has a good aspect of what it can do. Yeah, sure, that's fine. But the time you take that feature off, encrypted, or what you call it, E2EE support, forget about it. I think you as a company just loses me right there, because as someone like myself that advocates for privacy, for that right now, Meta is doing the opposite, having to trust a big corporation running by Zuckerberg. Because guess what? You're already zucked, guys. Having to stick around with a platform that doesn't support your privacy. It's a matter. It matters a lot. It really does. Because as soon as I see people sticking around thinking that, oh, I don't think nothing's gonna ever happen. No, you don't fool yourself. Something will happen, and if you ever come to find out if somebody ends up reading your messages or screenshotting them, I think this is going to be a huge problem. Mind you, we do need end-to-end encryption in social media, and these companies will go out and strip it away just because they want to. And so my point is, if you're on Instagram, it's time to let go. And I do have a solution to Instagram. In fact, an alternative to Instagram, which I will go ahead and tell you right now what can be our solution to this issue that we are seeing right now. First and foremost, let's get on to the alternative, and that alternative is Pixelfed. Pixelfed.org. Now, I will want to mention something right now. That Pixelfed is available on the Google Play and App Store right now. Now, what I like about this application here is, first and foremost, it is free, ad-free, privacy-friendly, open source, and decentralized. And then number 3, a lot of people are going to like this, is it's chronological feeds. So this here is not run by advertisers, and that's a good thing. We do need to split away from big tech. And now, if you're looking for something that you want to share your photos with or share your memories, which in this case I support Pixelfed. If you want something that is very much decentralized, away from these big tech corporates, that's good news right there too. So that's an alternative I definitely vouch for and support in this stage right there, because I do think Pixelfed will actually get well known as long as you end up sharing this with other people that that wants to join in. Because I do encourage you, for anyone listening or anyone in Spotify, but Instagram. Instagram is one, I will say that it'll be in the history books, where I remember one time I did join Instagram. My first time registering it was, I would say, 2012, but I believe at that time, that's when Facebook already grabbed onto Instagram, and you guys know what happened. Not everybody liked the buyout on Instagram. I get it too, because it's first of all, Facebook is very lifeless. I don't really care about Facebook, and I think the platform is really much garbage. Look, I always say this. I'm surely can say that a company like Facebook has had so many issues that even I myself, I will never think twice of going back to Facebook too. Now, if you're someone that happens to have Facebook or needs to have Facebook to connect with people, sure, I get it. I can't tell you what to do, right? That's just not for me to say, oh, you better hop out of Facebook or what, right? I can't say this to everybody, because everyone's needs are very different, and I sort of get it too. But for me, however, I can't even log in or even create a Facebook account, because I think I know what's happened. That I think they understood that I've already deleted my Facebook account, and for some reason, Meta won't let me get back on the platform. I don't know, but am I worried about that? Not really. Not necessarily not, because I really don't care what they do next, because I am into a point that I'm very much happy just doing what I want to do, is just be free from these platforms. Like, they just really don't matter to a point that I need to worry about. Oh, I need to get onto Facebook. I want to see what my friends are about. No, not really, because I feel that when you bring social media up to a bigger light, this is my opinion, is it just for me, I don't care the majority of people that have left high school, right? I just don't care about that at all, because by the time you leave or graduate school, to me, I like to have the mystery, just kind of the mystery of not having to know everything about every single individual. Like, and I get that social media has made things quite ugly as far as society goes, and this is a part of me that I don't care about social media, and I've never been a social media guy myself, because I really don't care about being a social media influencer or anything of that matter too. But then again, I get why people stick around with the platforms, is because they want a reach on those platforms. And that helps creators, that helps people to connect in many ways. And now, if you are going to data mine someone's direct messaging, first of all, that's violating your privacy. And what Meta is doing is criminal. It is absolutely disgusting. Dude, strip that off right there too. That's just no excuse at all. And Pixelfed, which I think, even though I do think it's basically like a clone of Instagram, Pixelfed, here's one of the features I wanted to read up to you right now, which in similarities, what they have with Instagram, here it is. Share multiple photos to create an album post. Something that, well, I know what you guys are thinking. Well, that's a similar feature that Instagram has. Yeah, that's pretty true. But there's more. Going down the list, direct messages. Engage in private conversations with DMs, which that means that no Pixelfed.org, or if you want to download it, try it out. It is private, and Pixelfed, it is decentralized. That means that it cannot read your private messages, which I like right there. And then the bottom, likes. Show your appreciation by giving that post a like. Similar things, similar features with Instagram. So that's why I say that it is basically like a clone of Instagram. Then comments. Express yourself with threaded comments, filters, and then what. The next one I'm going to read up is stories. Similar. It's basically similar to Instagram right there. Share an ephemeral moment that disappears after 24 hours. So there you go. So pixelfed.org is really cool. I've used it somewhat, and haven't used it all that much. But I will put it this way too. It is fascinating what you can do with pixelfed.org, and now, as of right now, during this recording, Pixelfed has had now 1.1 million people join 2K Pixelfed servers and shared over 62 million photos and videos. So that's the current status with Pixelfed. Now, it's not a large community compared to Instagram, but that's another alternative I wanted to share out. If you guys want decentralization, this is it right there. That's my solution right now. So with these communities in Pixelfeds, you can just go and join a server on any existing server that you wish in Pixelfed, or you can self-host a server, which is absolutely cool to see a platform like that doing something really good. And that's all. The way they are doing is basically they're doing is a federated. It's doing something that is federated, like similar to Mastodon, Mastodon.social. And what I like about that is that it's pretty much decentralized, and it is part of the ActivityPub protocol. and that's one thing I do like about Pixelfed. Right there is it is cool, and while I will say that with Pixelfed, the one thing uh, I've noticed right there when I'm on the website going over many things, while I'm scrolling over, I noticed that it doesn't have a web version of Pixelfed. Now, do I have a problem with that? No, absolutely not. I don't. Now, it would be cool to have a web version. I'm just saying. While you could just take your smartphone with you and share your moments with people, which I think it's great. I would say just give this one a shot because I will be using this a lot more and more as time goes on because we do need something decentralized for real. And also, this is I would say still a small project, Pixelfed, which it is open source in comparison with Instagram. Instagram is closed source. So you're talking about Instagram being run by a multi-billion-dollar company or a multi-trillion-dollar company, whichever you want to put it this way. This is open source, which I like, where you could just share the code and find out for yourself. Which, hey, whenever someone says open source, you can tell that there's going to be transparency. That's what I really like about Pixelfed.org, which at least there is something that you guys can do. Now, I will say another thing here. Another thing is, while it is part of the Fediverse and it is run by small contributors right now, it isn't like big compared to the giants, right? Like the tech giants like Meta. Now, if you are interested in diversifying yourself, Pixelfed is a good option. Believe me when I say this, even though, like I've said, it's a clone, but it is a better version of Instagram right now. So if you want to check it out, I'll have the link down below. And also, if you want to go over it more yourself, absolutely too. And I'll have my profile if you're interested in following me down below. That's where I share most of my photos, like selfies, places to go, travel, all that fun stuff that I do. And something that I like to share time to time again too. So that's what I gotta say with the Instagram story and all that too. So rolling over to the next subject, the next topic. Steam controller sold out 30 minutes, utterly breaking Steam in the process. Wow. So just when you thought that things couldn't have gone any better. And this was a post that was published May 4th, 2026. And a lot of people are on the internet webs are talking about how quickly it's sold out, the controllers. The controllers for Steam, it looks like it's one of those controllers have become so popular so fast that many of them will end up keeping one, but then in the process will sell these controllers or resell them on eBay or Bakari or whichever and sell them at a much higher price than the store MSRP price point on Steam's website. It's crazy. The situation is like, it just baffles me of how much a lot of you guys out there looking for a Steam controller yourself and be able to get a controller. It's really something, isn't it too? Which I couldn't believe in myself, that how fast the Steam controller sold out this quickly. And here, as PC Gamer says, grass grows, birds fly, sun shines, and a Valve hardware launch brought Steam to its knees. A half hour after launch, the Steam controller has already sold out after shortly borking the Steam store. 15 minutes later, a sliver of hope as it shows fresh stock once more, only to immediately sell out again. if it wasn't a mirage in the first place. Down detector shows a massive spike in error reports right around the 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Pacific launch time of Steam controller. While anecdotally, the Steam controller was the minefield. I have the error message. There seems to have been an error initializing or updating your transaction. Please wait a minute and try again or contact support for assistance. Staring into the eyeballs at this point, the Steam controller splashy page on Steam initially showed a 3 to 5 business days day wait before extending to 6 to 10. I was frantically refreshing the payment page. Chuck gleefully told me my efforts were in vain. So this right here, I think this is one of the most craziest stories I've heard about this too. Now, for what I've been hearing from a lot of you people out there online, a lot of people seem to enjoy the Steam controller. And it's one of those things that it's very cool. It's very, it feels really nice in your hand. Now, that's one thing I've never tried out is the Steam controller. It does look appealing. I'm not going to lie. It does look really appealing. I want to give Steam controller a go because there are things I can always use the Steam controller for different games on Steam, and why not? Like, I've been using the Steam account for over 15 years, and to me, it's something I'm really down for, and I really like having to use a very much of a neat controller in my hand, which is nice. But as of the moment, if I have to spend money on over a $50 controller on Steam, I would say hold out. And I know for these suckers that are buying these controllers and reselling them, man, some of these guys are reselling them for $100. Are you crazy? And that's in my mind, that is a crazy price point to put a price for a controller, which personally, I don't think it's worth over $80 for a controller. Now, if you were desperate, probably fine. You just throw your $80 out of the window. If it's worth it to you, $100, you have to be a little bit. You have to be very considerate if it's even right to buy a controller from a reseller. Because then, and also there's been other reports about some have said that they're probably pushing that controller on resale for $200 on eBay. I'm not joking with you too. That's how far they want to have people spend on controllers like that, and makes me rethink. Do you guys know that right now we're in quite of a recession, and you want people to vulnerably go out and throw out $200? Like, first of all, who in the right mind will spend $200 on a Steam controller? That's ridiculous right there. I think the ones that are really losing it are the resellers. I mean, they're not really gaining all that much out of this. My opinion is this: it's like, if you're going out and selling a controller out on eBay, you know, who in the right mind will likely spend it, unless if you have money that to throw out. You know, look, that's on you, but I don't think anyone in the right mind will go out and throw money out there. That's just my personal opinion too. That really is. I think it's a joke whenever I see these jokers reselling an expensive controller that high. For me, no, absolutely not. And continue on with the PC Gamer magazine article. I think we all anticipated this would happen given the early rush to secure Steam Decks all the way back in 2022. But like everyone out there trying to bag a day one Steam controller, I figured I was built different. On specified millions of people who successfully bought a controller clearly were built different. It's an incredible turnaround from the ambiguous end of the original Steam controller. Those Yankee double A battery goodness was going for an embarrassing $5 a pop by the end of its lifespan. Valve hardware is an event now, even if it's just a controller. The new Steam controller was supposed to have some friends launching with it today, but the RAM crisis has clearly affected Valve's hardware rollout. The company has said it's still planning on getting the Steam frame and new Steam machine out this year. And so that's where I wanted to go ahead and make a comment on this too. As much as I like where Steam is going, like for me, there's part of me it says that I like Steam because they're now being very innovative in this space. Then the other side of me says that I do not like some of the things they're doing, especially with the whole DRM thing, where gamers can't really own their games. Since you got your games linked to any account, that just seems, strange that you spend so much money on the game, but not ever keep the games or pass these games along with somebody that you may know, which is, again, very strange to me. Because if you bought that copy, you might as well play it until you've already beaten that game to death already at that point. Because even though I myself will go back and replay some of the classics, which I do enjoy, the remember is this, that Valve is a company. Valve will do anything that can sell as many units. And look, they're not just a company that is known for just the Steam client. And with everyone just jumping in, spending money on controllers and reselling, I think people are really desperate. I do think it's desperation for that matter, because they know that people are going to go out of their way and spend a lot higher when they get it second bought instead of first hand through a first party, a first party like Steam itself. Now, and that's one thing I have another question, especially with Steam hardware, and moving a little bit out of the topic of the Steam controller. I do think that the Steam machine, it does look tight. I know people have pointed out with the Steam machine is that it doesn't look all that powerful. I could be making a better, faster computer compared to the Steam machine coming out. Now, if Valve says that it's going to come out this year and will be able to have a release on time, I don't know, because I really hope that this RAM crisis, or from what I've been hearing lately with the CPU, crisis, which it's coming very, very near. They say that the CPU crisis, they say it's going to hit harder on people now than it is with the RAM prices. And if you don't think that the prices of RAM are higher, well, they say that you probably will guess again, because CPUs are going to go high. Now, I'm going to have to look it up on more information about CPU shortages, because if this is true, I'll have to check it out. Because Steam machine, like you say, that I like that. One thing I will say, in aspect of it, it is a hybrid between a a console and a PC. So what I do like about it is that you could do whatever you want with it too, and you could just do whatever you want with the machine. You don't have to keep the Steam OS if you don't want to. And what I like is that you could just put on any Linux distro and it customize it, do whatever you like. This is your world. This is your machine, which I like about Steam on that aspect, is that they are open about this, and at least they can say is that you can do what you want with it too. and they said, hell, if you want to have Windows, sure, go ahead. Now, for me, I'm not the biggest Windows person all that much anymore too, because I've converted more onto Linux, and I think Linux has done well as far as the community around with basically with the community around with Linux, because they've been putting in more support for gaming on Linux than any company right now, which is great. I like that what Steam is doing for Linux. You got to give props and respects with Steam now. And so, yeah, but I really hope that Steam, at least they can get this situation fixed with their controllers. They have enough supply where they can sell more controllers, more hardware, and everything, all the above too, because they've sold out within 30 minutes. Think about 30 minutes. You got to be kidding me. Like, what in the hell? That is baffling when you hear news like that, having to have a controller sold out that fast. And also, I don't think this is going to be the last of the story at all, because I do think more of this hardware sellout is going to continue on. So we are going to see more stories coming on our way in the future. I will bet your butt it will happen again. This is not going to be the last of it too. So anyways, I'm going to keep this podcast in the close. If you like what you heard on today's story, make sure to hit me a follow and let me know what you think about the whole situation. Will you get a Valve Steam controller when more supplies come out? If so, let me know down in the comments. Love to hear your take. And also, I do read both of your comments on YouTube and Odyssey. So anyways, that being said, I hope you have a good rest of the day. Enjoy yourself. Take care. Catch you on the next one. Bye.